Are you good?
Yep, I'm good. Hi. Welcome
Hey.
to Salty Skidmore. I'm here with Erik Griffin. Erik, I love how, I was going to wait to say this until I hit record. I love how you always have, can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Oh, okay. I love how you always have, an attitude about everything. I want to know, is it just about things I want you to do, or is it in general, do you have this with everyone?
Oh, I'm unapproachable with everyone.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Don't take it personal.
Because I
Has
love,
nothing to do with you.
How long have you been doing that since you were a little kid, or is that a learned habit once you could have an attitude?
No, it's not about when you could have an attitude. It's about people will ask you to do everything because they feel entitled to your time, money, company. People, even the slimmest of friendship, then people think that, oh, well, now you can help me move, or you can help me, you can come on my podcast. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, okay.
It's not just you. It's like everybody that has a podcast now. Like if you have a podcast, people think they can just hit you up and, hey, I just started a podcast and I'd love for you to be a guest. I mean, yeah, I'd love to have Denzel Washington on my podcast, but I can't get a hold of him and he probably would say no. You know what I mean? So it's not about, it's really nothing personal. It's nothing against you or anything like that. I just have sometimes a disagreeable disposition just to protect myself from people's
asking for things.
Yeah.
Do you feel do a lot of people ask you, oh shit, oh, that's an update. No, the Zoom went away, but it was some fucking update on my computer. Do you get asked for a lot of stuff normally? Every day kind of thing, weekly by
It's not every day. It's just I've been streaming a lot, so I do the game streaming and stuff like that. So you have to interact with the chat, and it's just these people think because say somebody pays $4.99 or they use their Prime membership, now they think that they have all my time, all my attention. So then they think they can say whatever the hell they want, and they have all these demands. You just kind of sometimes you just get fed up with it. You know what I mean? You just get oh my God, really? So I don't know. Maybe I don't have to be like that all the time. Maybe it's nice to always have a smile on your face and be like, oh hey, what can I do? But then I feel like I'd rather you be disappointed while you're asking.
I just imagined you doing a cameo and how funny it would be if you were like, happy birthday.
No, I actually do great cameos. You know what I mean? Because it's on my own time. Cameo, I wouldn't do a cameo if it was you needed to do it right now, this very instant. Even though sometimes I wait till the last minute to do them, then I feel like that. And I'm like, oh, I got to get these done. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm just saying it's I don't know. But yeah, thanks for calling me out on that.
Yeah, well, I've been asking you to do the podcast for 2 years, and now I know I caught you at a good time when I know you don't have much.
2 years, come on.
I've had the podcast for 2 years, so I'm sure I asked you right away.
I get it. But you know what? In the same way that I've asked people to do my podcast a couple times and they've said no too. I can't get a lot of people on my podcast. You'd be surprised.
I do.
Surprised.
Drop some names.
A lot of people. Whitney Cummings.
Really?
There's a lot of people like that, like Bill Burr. I'm back and forth with him. He'll text me back and be like, oh, I got to do it. And then we just never scheduled it. You know what I mean? So, it happens, you know what I mean? So it's not so that's when I think about it. When I think about I'm thinking to myself, Chelsea, there's people that are telling me no all the time. What are you talking about?
I've gotten some hard no's from Dan Bilzerian and Mike Judge. Those are pretty much the only two people who said no.
Yeah, but I mean, you go, well, you're not even shooting for the stars. You just.
Mike Judge is cool. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, but
Those are the first two that came to mind because I've been seeing Dan Bilzerian's tweets popping up for some reason.
Right.
So.
No, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's like, I always tell people, like, I don't care when people say no, because I get it. I don't want to do podcasts either. So I get it. If I ask somebody to do my podcast and they're just like, I don't want people to feel this like obligation. I don't want people to be like, so I tell them right up front, I go, listen, believe me, I 100% get it. It's just, if you have the time, if you feel the inclination, if you want to like open up, you want to have a conversation, I'm like, hey, let's do it. But if not, I just try not to put any pressure on anybody to do it, And it's because what happens is it ends up being like the people that are your friends. And then ultimately you're putting pressure on them because they're your friends. That's why you ask your friends. And then the whole idea of it is like, you're my friend. Why won't you be on my podcast? So, I mean, that's what it is.
I will say this, like, while you are a very begrudgingly, I love how you patiently wait for me to learn how to pronounce, begrudgingly, like, agree to do things. I know once you're there, you're a great sport. When I invited you to the wedding, you complained about the wedding, but then once you got there, you took a million pictures.
Oh yeah, the wedding was great. By the way, one of my favorite weddings I've ever gone to, by the way.
Everyone said that.
Yeah, it was really a good vibe. I really enjoyed your wedding. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't necessarily put a finger on it because it was like a destination wedding, which kind of pissed me off because it was like you had to drive all the way to St. Louis Obispo. But once I got there, I got like a hotel with my girl, and we just, we were there, and then when you came to the wedding, it was just like I think that it was like, what I liked about it, it was like an extension of the Comedy Store, but like without the negativity of the hallway, So it was like a lot of people that, if you were invited, it meant you were wanted, so so you felt. And it was great, and I always remember Brody's speech too, and so in the aftermath of his death, it made me like remember your wedding even more, and it just was fun, your dad hitting on my girl.
I'm like mortified by that, but he still would. Rachel is so his type.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
If a girl looks like a model, if she's tall and thin, like he's there.
I just thought that was funny. Then one of the bridesmaids like yelling at Rachel because she's like, "How dare you come to a wedding dressed like I'm looking like a model?"
I wonder who said that. Was it dead serious or was
I have no idea. Like Rachel says that happened, but I don't even know if that really happened. You know what I mean?
No, it probably did.
You know what I mean? And it was probably one of the fat ones, just. But I don't know. But anyway, and then the food was good, and like,
really?
I mean, your mom was that your mom? Your mom was great. I just love how I love how all of Steven's family look the same. Like they literally are clones. You know what I mean? His brothers and uncles, and I was like, God, you can see what Steven's gonna look like in all generations. You know what I mean? So anyway, it just was an overall good time, and I'm glad I was there.
Yeah, Bobby is so mad that you were invited and he wasn't, and he still to this day complains about it.
And by the way, you were just gorgeous, breathtaking. It was great. You were a great bride. So it was good. It was all around good time. It was a good celebration of love. So yeah, but that's me. I'm gonna be like, oh, your stupid wedding. You know what I mean? But I still go. I still give good gifts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So how is your quarantine? Let's start with that. How's it been going? I feel like things are lifting. I can feel like, I see people like booking weekends and stuff now. Like I feel like life is creeping back. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still creeping back, but it's unsure. That's the thing I don't like about it all. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. We can't get proper information. We don't know about, it's like you hear about these rapid tests and now we hear that they're not accurate. And then, so it's like, there's no solid information source to be like, here's what's going on with Corona. Here's what's happening, especially when you hear we're not as a country united because, so Florida's open, but then this other state's not open. Then this other state. So it's like, how are we going to do this? And then when you even think about for your own common sense, like I'm supposed to go to Vegas, to do a show. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is Vegas going to open up? I mean, you want to talk about social distancing. Like, what are they going to, like, how are they going to dip all the chips? Is there going to be like some sort of like alcohol rub on the table that you like, every time you get chips, you have to put, I don't know how they're going to resume that kind of thing without a fucking attitude. Just like, hey, you know what you're getting into, you know what I mean? It's like going to a whorehouse without condoms. Like,
Yeah.
you get something, well, I mean, you know what you were doing. I mean, it's going to be that kind of environment. So for me, it's like, that's what's giving me a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. And it's just like, it was hard because like my career was put on hold. I mean, it's like 1 second, a majority of your income, the thing that you get a majority of your income from just disappears. And then what are you supposed to do? And then you think to yourself, when is it going to come back? And at what level is it going to come back? Like, how is it going to come back? Is there going to be full clubs? Like, comedy was going through a renaissance right now. Like, more tickets were being sold by comedians than like ever before. Like, it was just unprecedented. Look at all the people that we know selling out theaters and going on these long tours and stuff. And all that just went on a halt. I mean, it disrupts people's lives. And so it was hard. It's hard. It's still hard. I'm still not really 100% myself because of it.
Yeah. Is there any level of you that's like enjoying the break in terms of like how, this career is like such a hustle and like a rat race, and like the idea that like no one is doing better than anyone else and we're all on hold kind of thing? Does that affect you?
No, not really. Like, it's not like, I mean, the good thing that I would say is that my relationship actually, because she hates when I travel. She wants me to be around all the time. So it's like, she was like, I hope we have this forever, You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's where I'm at right now. It's like, but at the same time though, it's been, it's fast tracking all the nonsense in a relationship. We have to deal with it right away. So like, if this is a time to find out if it's going to work or not, because it's like, you're talking about 24 hours a day with a person, she started living here. So it was like, oh my God. So at first it was difficult, there was like fighting in the kitchen about how things go, and and then like quickly got over that because you have to. Because like, it's like, it's coronavirus going on. So where are you going to go? You know what I mean? What you going to do? So it really like, now and then we've spent more time, physical time in this past 3 months than we have probably our whole relationship. If you really calculate like going on dates and like, what do you spend 3 hours, then this is like 24 full hours, weeks and weeks and weeks on end. So it's been, that I'll say been a positive, actually that's been a good thing. So, but like, again, I still have the anxiety about my career and my job and what's happening, what's going on next. But I've tried to pivot. I do the gaming, I've been gaming every day, and that's like, I have all these subscribers now. So that, that brings in my revenue. And then the podcasting, which I'm like sick of, because only reason is because like you did the podcast because you wanted to make yourself more visible so people could come watch you perform. It was another avenue to get people to, to come watch you perform. So now it's like, I don't know, why am I doing it? Is it just because, now I start to be like, well, what am I talking about and why am I talking about it? And then on top of that, now you have this civil unrest in the world where it's like, I feel like every episode has to be about that, or you're doing a disservice to yourself and everything. So it's like all these things going on that is making me like really burnt out on this platform.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And even just like, I feel like I have to start out by like checking in with everyone about like where they're at in terms of all of this, just because it feels most natural. But it's also like a degree of like, great, I don't want to keep I don't think audience wants to listen to that. Well, we can move on from that. But yeah, I just feel like it's also like,
I know, that's what I'm saying though. But at the same time, it's like, it just depends on what level you are too, of like, like I was, I was getting all this pushback on the internet about, from just idiots, why are you silent? Or, and then if you post anything, they're just like, oh, that's what you're posting when the world is this, I'm like, oh my God. So then you go, what I don't appreciate about it is like, you don't know me. You don't know how I feel, what level of anger I'm at or not. Like where my thoughts are, how I contribute. You just assume because you think you know somebody because you see them on this little device. Because I take pictures of a meal with my girlfriend, and so now you think, oh, I know everything about this couple and their life because now I'm with them. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, you don't know me. And even if you have a podcast and you hear me talk for an hour with someone and you're starting to get an idea, a sense of who I am and my personality, you still don't know me. That's almost like a work relationship. You know what I mean? So that's why sometimes I have the feeling that I have. That's how this is just another example of it where you just got to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
got a couple Instagram questions for you. What got you into video games?
Nothing got me into it. I'm a guy. I've been into video games since Pac-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you been consistently like?
Yeah, I've always played video. Yeah. I've always played video games, but this is just like, I didn't realize people would want to watch me play video games. So that's the thing that's hilarious.
How long do you do that for?
Oh man, the longest I've done it is like 5 hours. I had a 3-hour one earlier today. I mean,
that's crazy.
I know. Like last night, I was on for a few hours on YouTube, but it'll be like 600-700 people watching and just talking shit on the, And that's not even. I'm not even a big streamer. I mean, there's people that got thousands of people watching. I mean, gaming is. Go ahead.
That just seems so like boring to watch.
And this is so thrilling. You know what I mean? I'm just.
Okay, so it's like something for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, be like watch whatever it is for, I mean, but I know that a lot of it has to do with just me. I know it's just my personality, how I'm going about it. Like, and people just want to watch me be bad at the game, or if I actually win, they're like, oh my God, Griff, get it, So I understand that I'm the appeal when it comes to like, the interaction. So I try to interact. I play with the fans, almost every day. I open it up and then they join and I play with them. And, so it's like, I try to, what I appreciate is when people send me messages, and I get them all the time now in the last 2 months of like, really appreciate the content. I've been depressed, or it's like really been hard and you really a distraction. So I go, oh, okay, I'm doing my part.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's see. What happened to the podcast you were supposed to do with Bobby?
We were never gonna do a podcast. It was we talked about it, and then Bobby decided to do a podcast with Santino. But Bobby was talking about doing a podcast with me, with his brother, with like with whoever. So it is what it is.
Oh, but, Oliver.
Yeah, so it's always somebody.
I have 2 more questions about Bobby. How did you meet Bobby?
See, they love the interaction with Bobby and I.
I know. It's just...
at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
That's where I met everybody. That's where I met you.
Yeah. What does Bobby smell like?
That's what I'm saying. This is like.
That was the last one on him that I was going to ask you. There were some others, but.
Exactly what you would think. You've been around him. What does he smell like?
I know what he ingests. Red Bull and vape, but like
he's actually back to cigarettes because he heard vaping is bad for you.
Oh really? Yeah, I can't think of like an actual smell though. He doesn't have a smell to me.
Yeah.
Like I know what Mark Maron smells like. Mark Maron smells like patchouli, like he has that like hippie sense of like coffee, old newspapers, and like patchouli. But yeah, I don't really think he had. Okay.
Those are your big questions?
This is just like a Q&A thing. These aren't my questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know. I don't really particularly like if it's not like I smell something and go, oh, this reminds me of Bobby. No.
Yeah. Do you still follow the Boy Scout rule of D's?
You don't even know what that is.
No.
I was gonna look at it. Just by how you asked that question, I know that's a Workaholics reference.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
in Workaholics, the episode, actually the first episode I was in on the show, that's actually my first episode. So what happens is in the episode, Blake is like comes to Montez's house and he's looking through the windows and he sees him naked, you know? And so that the Boy Scout rule of D's is if you see a guy's dick, you have to show him your dick. That's the Boy Scout rule of D's.
So do you still follow it?
I never was following it. It's not
okay.
like what I have to explain to these people sometimes is that it's not a documentary. It was actually a television show. My name's Erik Griffin. The character's name was Montez. It's not, none of it was real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the college kids that follow that show, they absolutely, it was their life, you know, which was an exciting thing to be a part of when I look back on it.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Pros and cons of quarantine relationships.
Well, we already talked about one of them. Because that could be a con too. Like, if you're not getting along with a person, or you don't really know them well, you don't have a good rapport. Quarantine is gonna let you know that this ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what am I doing? We can't be locked. We can't both be on, house arrest together because we're gonna kill each other. If you're at that level already after these few months, then get out of that relationship. But if you actually have found a way to coexist and give each other space and do the things that you need, you've got a good thing going, and I feel like I have a good thing going with my girl, then it can be great.
Yeah. All right. So I want to get into your career. You're one of my absolute favorite performers at the Comedy Store, and in general, you're so fucking funny. What I think that you have that's like great is like you're a good writer and a good performer, because I feel like sometimes you don't have both. Some people have one or the other.
One or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're one of the few people who has both. You have so much material too. I mean, what is your? And I think you could have said that you like find ways to recycle it, so it sounds like it's like you'll take some old stuff and switch it around.
Yeah, because I guess you're constantly working on it. It's like it's never really done. I just have the attitude that it's never done until it's been on television, and even now, and now that still doesn't even matter, because there's so many outlets, that you could do something on the internet and then still do it again someplace else, so it's never really done. It's like comedy is like so fluid that way. It's so your experiences change, because something might happen that makes a joke you did more relevant. It's like the example of that was like, I used to have a joke about Beauty and the Beast before the movie came out, before the new movie came out. But when the new movie came out, it made it so, I can change this up and I can add this to it. And then like I had a reference to like another movie, and then that movie came, a new version. Then I was like, I had to change. So you have to it's fluid like that. You have to change depending on what's going on and what the temperature is, you might say. So that's why, unless you have some like joke that is like, so evergreen and it's like it's set a certain way and it always works like that, that's how you've done it, that's fine. But like I'm more conversational anyway, so conversations change, subjects change, and so I just treat the comedy like that too.
Yeah, you're so good at like being natural, but like having a performance at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just, I basically feel like that's just what it turns into after a while, But still at the same time, though, I want to, be more thoughtful about actually getting the words down more precisely and the points more, know the points. Because when I was working on my special before it, the work that I put in to prepare for it, I was like, ooh, this is how I should be working all the time. It's like you just always know what you're going to say, always know what you're going to talk about. remembering things, taping yourself. I mean, the work you put into it to truly be great. I don't always do that because, you know, you just like, you're doing all these other things. And it's like, I feel like it's important to, I'm going to especially do that now if we ever come back to getting back, you know, because that's how you really elevate yourself.
Have you been writing any new stuff? And
no, because I just, you know, it's like making hamburgers that nobody can eat. I just it gets depressing.
Yeah, like for the past like what 3 months, I'd be like, I literally was just like, I don't have any like desire to like write jokes. Like I was just working on writing pilots, and I didn't really like have anything like coming in that I could think of, because it's like, you know, how can I say this possibly 6 months from now? What's the point, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I felt things like slightly starting to open back up again, like all of a sudden it just like started to just,
yeah. That's what happens.
Just turned on, and I was just like, oh, okay. And now I feel like I have to like start prepping for like, you know, when things are going to open back up, you know, because I want to come back with like a ton of shit.
I know, but then it's just going to be like, part of me dreads it, because just think of all these terrible coronavirus jokes that are going to be coming out. You know what I mean? Just, you know, or over politicized material. It's just going to be a lot of that right now. It's just a lot of white liberal bullshit is going to be on the Comedy Store stage, and I mean it exactly how I said it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, you know, like, okay. So it's like, but then at the same time, it's like, what do you do? It's like, is that our job, you know, to do that? But it's like, but we're going to have to weed through all of the people working it out till it's ready for something like what Chappelle did. You know what I mean? And even in that, I don't, you know, he kept saying like, this isn't funny, but it was like, and I'm glad that it wasn't. I'm glad it was just because he's such a great orator, you know, such a great, like, his point of view is so crisp and clear that I'm glad it wasn't all jokey and fun like that. It was like, it was hard. It was like giving like a I have a dream type speech. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I feel. And so there has to be some of that too as we're coming up. But as a person that has to be around it all the time, I'm gonna be like, ugh, here we go. That guy's working on that joke.
Yeah.
You know, here comes the, you know, it was like, you know, but it is what it is. I'm just being honest about how I feel about watching the process. I don't necessarily like that. Now, the end result might be great, you know, like such and such comic might be working on some joke for like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And then you hear it all the time and you're just like, oh God. But then when they get it into like a special or something, and then you can see, oh, well, there's the fruits of the labor. But watching the late, you know what I mean? It's like we're watching the cruise ship being put together. That's not fun, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe riding the ship, you know, gambling and being at the bar and eating the buffet. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's going to be the good stuff. But like the process of watching it being built, it's not always fun as a comic.
Yeah, everyone's probably gonna suck. You know, just coming back, trying to work out all this. So you started in your early 20s and then took a break and came back or something? Is that what happened?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Well, I mean, it's just, you know, I'm from LA. So
where'd you go to high school, or what part did you grow up in?
You know, I was a mid-Wilshire kid, mid-city, grow up, you know, and I just, when you're in LA at that particular time, you know, I don't know how people start in LA, you know, it's like, it's so different when you see people like they're from like Nebraska or something, and then the thing is they have some local funny bone, right? And then they get to do spots at that funny bone when such and such people come into town, and they think that's what comedy is. They think because like Bert Kreischer's in town and you got to open up, do 10 minutes in front of 300 people, all you think, oh wow, this is how it is all the time, you know. Then they come to LA with their big dreams and they're like, wait, I have to go to an open mic and buy a sandwich and there's only 6 people in the crowd and 8 of them are comics. You know, you're like, what the fuck is this? You know, so that's what I had to start with, you know. So I was doing open mics and stuff and they were terrible and I was terrible, and it's just,
I
it was.
can't ever imagine a time that you were terrible.
Oh, it's there. Believe me.
How?
It's
What was it? What were you doing something differently, or was it still like
no. You have to.
observational?
Yeah, it's just I don't even remember all that stuff. It just was dark times. It's just you just become more. That's not about material so much as it's about like being comfortable on stage and being comfortable with yourself. That's the thing you have to like get past, and then you can start working on the craft. You know,
Mm.
once you're at a stage where it's like, okay, you could be on stage and just be comfortable with yourself, because you have to be comfortable with not doing well, because then then you're at a point of like, well, this doesn't matter, because you're like, okay, well, I'm trying this out. That didn't work. Damn. All right, guys, well, I tried. If you're comfortable like that, then you're going to be okay. But a lot of times we're so caught up in like results, like I didn't get any laugh, so that means oh my god, who cares? It's just one fucking crowd, and you move on to the next. But I wasn't ready for that when I first started. It was just a lot harder. And I didn't know how to get on stages. I didn't know anything. There's no mentors. There was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just think like at the time, you think it's a pipe dream too. Like, to be in the entertainment business is to be a dreamer. You're dreaming. It's like trying to be a professional athlete or something. Even if you have skills, you could be really skilled and really talented. It doesn't mean you're going to make it. Same thing in comedy. It's like, it's a tough thing so you have to not even be thinking about that stuff. And I wasn't thinking about it till much later. And that's when I was able to like, okay, navigate through this sea of treachery and,
How long were you doing it before you took that break? And then like, was there something that led you to like hitting sort of like a bottom, like, fuck this, I'm just over it? And
yeah, there was a couple of things like that. I only did it for a few years. And when I say did it for a few years, I mean I would go to open mics every 13 weeks. You know what I mean?
okay, yeah.
I wasn't like, I didn't have that. Like, it wasn't like I was going to open mics every night, because it just was like, well, what's the point? At the time, I was like, what's the point? At the time, I was like, oh man, I'm funnier than all these. That's how you felt, Well, this fucker's doing the same joke. I just saw him 8 weeks ago. And he's doing the same joke that doesn't work. Why is he still, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Then the thing that got me was, and I've told this story so many times, but it doesn't matter. There was a club, where a Comedy Union is. It used to be called Mixed Nuts.
Okay.
That's the name of it. They used to be called Mixed Nuts. Now it's the Comedy Union. But at the time, so I was going to do this, just a regular night. The booker, I forgot the girl's name, but she worked with J. Anthony Brown. I don't know if you know who that is. J. Anthony Brown. He's an old school black comic. Was on Def Jam. He just was already a old school dignitary even at the time, and he's on stage and he's killing. All the comics are in the back room, nervous because we're about to go on, and this crowd is loving this guy, and then so she didn't tell him the lineup. So then he looks over at the comics, and he's all like, after just killing, like finishing a joke, and the crowd is like, oh shit, it's like going off. You know what I mean? And then he looks over at the
falling
comics,
out of their chairs.
Yeah, it was just like that. He looks over at the comics, he's like, who's next? And so like literally it was like I was in the front and everybody took a step back. You know what I mean? So then I looked around like, oh, I guess I'm next. And I was like, Erik Griffin, and then of course he don't know who I am. So the intro was like bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't know who this motherfucker is, that kind of thing. So I go on stage and it's just not, 1 minute, 2 minutes, nothing. It's crazy. That he's giving me the light in the back of the room, like, get off stage. So I stay on stage too. I go, oh damn, I got the light already. All right, y'all, boom, 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 finish. He goes on stage and he does about 15, 20 minutes on how bad I am. Okay. And like to the point where I always say this because I remember one of the jokes, because he was like, you got the light already? Shit. People trying to set their girlfriends on fire to get you off stage, It was like that. So I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm just I'm hearing all this. Nobody wants to come near me because when somebody bombs like that, you don't even want that energy on you. You think it's going to slip off of that comic and like like it's coronavirus, you know what I mean? Like it just comes like that. So, but it was really like, I was like, after that, I was like, what am I doing this for? Like, I was like, ugh. So I just didn't have it. I didn't have the stomach for it. I didn't have the will for it. Cause I thought this is supposed to be fun, right? So that was it for me. You know, it was like, and there was like a couple experiences like that, a couple of like really like, what am I, is that my phone? Whose phone is that? Oh, just a couple of like really shit experiences, um, that I was like, I don't want to do this because I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
like I could really do it. And it wasn't until later in life that I was like I just was more mature. And
So
I
how
understood.
many years? Oh, sorry.
It was like, it must have been like 8 years.
So what spiked something back in you to be like, oh, I want to do that again?
It was a lot of things. It was like, I just was tired of people telling me like, man, you're so funny. Why aren't you a comic? You know what I mean? And it was like, and I did want to be a comic, you know? And I just didn't want to wake up one day and be like, damn, I didn't follow my dream at all. I didn't even give myself a chance.
I
You
got
know?
chills when you just said that, because it's like that to me is like the worst thing in the world. Just like I
Yeah.
just can't imagine living like that.
Yeah, I mean, just take a shot and take a real shot and fail, but don't just bow out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of other things, some personal stuff, and I just did it. But again, I just was at a different age where it was like I started to understand. I was like, oh, I got to build relationships. Oh, okay, I got to like cultivate relationships too, like water in a plant. You know, it's not going to be overnight. So it was just, you got to make your comic. You have to make the comics laugh because they get you work. You have to build your reputation. You have to get respect. You know, it was like all these things that I was like, oh, okay, I figured this out. And then a real super profound moment for me that really set me on the path was, I used to go to open mics, and when I go to the open mics, I would go with my buddy. I have to go with someone, you know, like going to a movie or something. You don't want to go by
Yeah.
yourself. I'd be like, oh, I can't, you know. So it became like a crutch. It's a crutch. Like
Mm-hmm.
people that do comedy that have a comedy buddy and a friend that they only go with, you're being a pussy.
Yeah.
So then I tell my friend, my good buddy Jeff, he was a good, still to this day, one of my best friends. And one of our friends is calling us from one of these dumb open mics that you have to sign up. You have to get on the list early. He's like, I'm gonna put us on the
Mm-hmm.
list. So Jeff's in the car with me, and I go, he gonna put us. I'm putting you on the list. And my buddy Jeff's going, I don't want to go on the list. I don't want to do it. Okay, and I just was like, man, you want to do? We gonna go tonight. All right. When I hung up the phone, my buddy Jeff yelled at me. He was like, I don't want to do it. If you want to be a comic, go be a fucking comic on your own. You don't need me to go with you. You know, he just was like berating me.
Wow.
That night, I went to an open mic by myself for the first time. And I was like, oh, because now I was focused on when I was going up, it was about me. It wasn't about socializing. And then I thought, too, oh, I can leave now and go to someplace else. And I never went. After that, I always went to open mics by myself. And, you know, I saw people I knew. Maybe I met up with people, but it was about my night. And that really sparked me on a path of like, you know, getting to where I got.
And were you always very performance heavy, or was that something that came in time?
I think it was always like hand in hand. You know, it was always hand in hand. I mean, I've always been a big personality. That's the reason why people told me I
Mm-hmm.
should have been a comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of these dudes that are like, you know, witty writer types, nobody thought they should be a comic. But they are skilled at telling jokes. You know, those are people that are, you know, tacticians. You know, they're you know, wordsmiths, and those are actually the ones that are more successful. You know, I mean, the people that, you know, that really delve into the art form and the skill of it. You know, I mean, people that are like a lot of performance based, you know, they get lost. They get that stuff gets lost, and that they don't have enough substance and enough, you know, enough focusing in on a point of view because it's so busy being funny.
Did you ever feel like you had to like walk through a fear of doing like big act outs kind of thing?
No, no, no. It wasn't a fear of it. I never had a fear of it. Because I really don't. I honestly don't give a fuck what people think. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Always?
like you could hear what somebody says and be like, ah, that hurts, or you could be like, or you could, you know, somebody gives you a criticism and you can listen to the criticism, think about it, and then you move on from it. I mean, that's how I am. I just go, I hear it, I go, well, I don't know, I don't what, and then I go, okay, whatever, or I'll take it in and be like, is there any truth to that? So that's what I do. But ultimately, I don't give a fuck. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not gonna change. It's not gonna change me. So the thing that's what you have to get over that, because what happens too is like if you're somebody that uses all your skills and talents, you know, then somebody is gonna look at that and be like, oh, there's the guy that does voices, or there's the guy that does this, like as if how they're doing comedy is the only way to do comedy. And there's a lot of that at the Comedy Store. There's a lot of that bullshit attitude at the Comedy Store of like how people do comedy, you know, like how, you know, it's like there's like that, like you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way, and it's like they don't say it out loud, but that's the attitude they have about it. So there was a lot of that, like, you know, if you do sound effects, that you're somehow you're less than, you know what I mean? And I don't believe that. So so they can believe that, but I don't believe it. That's why I do all the things that I do. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think though they mean like certain styles are more like appropriate for Comedy Store, and then there's more that are like Laugh Factory kind of people?
No, I don't think that that's true, because the same people perform at both places. You know, I just
Yeah,
think that
but
the ones that are like, I think the ones that are, you know, the ones that bring butts in the seats. You know,
mm-hmm.
the ones that make people laugh, the ones that where people go, oh man, I really love that person. That those people are already a step above everyone anyway.
Mm-hmm. So I was looking at your IMDb and I noticed, like, I love to go to the bottom of people's IMDb's and then I go up from there, and I see how I always notice like there's always like one or two things for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden 1 year hits, and then it's just like boom, 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 and it's almost like something like clicked. And I saw that with your page. It was like, I can't remember the years, but it was something like one thing in like, I'm probably getting the dates wrong, but like 2004, like 2005, like 2008, and then it's like 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it's like bum, bum, bum. Like, again, like the dates aren't accurate, but was there something that kind of like changed or clicked for you in terms of
No,
like?
I mean, it's just like, you know, this is like, it's a lottery, you know. So you just
Mm-hmm.
get lucky. Some of that stuff is just luck, you know. It's like
Yeah.
when talent meets opportunity, you know what I mean? So, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
booked Workaholics, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. Was that up until then? Did you feel like things
That
were
was my
more?
first. That was my first thing. That's the first thing I
Oh,
ever booked.
okay.
That was my first like real acting job. So then
Mm-hmm.
after that, it was just like, you know, all right, then you're just trying to get other acting jobs. You know what
Were
I
you
mean?
friends with all those guys before that?
No, no,
Or what was the process of booking
I,
that like for
I
you?
only just like anything else. You just go to an
Yeah.
audition and then you book it. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had seen Adam. I knew he was a comic and I'd seen him around, but we're not in the same peer group. You know what I mean? We're not. You know, so it was just kind of like, you know, it's just always funny, because it was funny the week before that audition, I saw Adam at the Improv in Brea.
Mm-hmm.
We were just doing some random show, and I saw him go on stage, and I was like, "Oh, man, you're doing good, man. Keep that up, bro." You know. And then the next thing I know, he's in this room running this audition,
Oh.
and even at that point, I looked at him and I was like, "Oh, look at Adam, must be interning." I still didn't know until like my manager said to me, "Hey, how was that Divine project?" And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And this was already after I already done the audition, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's his show," and I was like, "What?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just don't know what people are doing. So then it just worked out the way it worked out.
I know. I always feel like I don't want to have like drama with people because you never know
You do
what
never
kind of.
know. And that still never stops you from having drama with people.
I know, but even just like certain, I'll fight with like a fucking waitress, and I'll be like, she could be a big fucking casting director in 10 years. Just like stop it with the. Have you had stuff like that? Like you getting in fights with people, and then like later they're like, no on Erik, but everyone else, yes.
No, I don't. No, not that I know of. No, I like to be pretty. I'm not fake nice to people.
Yeah. No, not fake nice.
I'd rather be genuine. I mean, if I don't like you, I don't like you. It is what it is. But if I'm right for the part, I would like to think that whoever the person is could get, if they, I don't know. There was just one casting director. I forgot her name. We were out with some comics and she was there and she was like arguing with me about how, who was it? It was like, I never forget it because it was so stupid. It's something about why an American Idol judge shouldn't be a judge, and we just got into this real argument about it. And I was just telling her like, that's dumb what you're saying. You know what I mean? And I know that affected her bringing me in for whatever dumb projects she was casting. I know that the conversation we had was like, and I always remember it as like, oh, you think you're like when you're in a social setting with somebody that has like even a little bit of power that they think they have, you have to pick up on cues that they want to be the king of the court in this particular thing. But like you're out with comics and we just got off stage and we're talking and boom, boom, you know what I mean? And it's just like one of those things where I go, so I always learn a lesson from that. That's why I make myself unapproachable. I'm not just going to hang out with anybody. I don't know you. If I can't be myself around you, I don't want to hang around you. I don't want to have to pretend. I don't want to have to pretend if I'm like after getting off stage or, after that, you're charged with that type of energy, get away from me because you're not going to be able to deal with what's about to happen.
Because you're feeling a little extra opinionated.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, you know what I mean? You're fired up. You're, your brain's firing. And then like other comics, we're challenging each other and we're doing this thing. And some person who's like, outside of they're not really a performer, but they think they're in the business because they like, you know what I mean?
Because they're a fucking manager who hangs out.
Yeah. Right. You think you're like, oh, you're even worse, a casting director. A casting director is like a casting director is like a bouncer at a club. They're having zero fun. They're just outside with a clipboard. Like the real fun's going on in here, and I have to make sure that you're not. What are you really doing? So it's like, if you don't have, especially if you're not like, if you're some low level, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? Like if you're going to be a part of this, then be a part of it, but don't bring what you do into it.
Yeah. So. Are there any other pieces of wisdom you learned along the way or things or advice that you got from like, someone more experienced than you that you hold on to?
You know what? Not off the top of my head, but not to say that I haven't been learning from other people, because I just, you look and you see how people work and how people operate, no matter who it is,
What about something you learned about or have developed in terms of like your work ethic over the years?
That's what I'm saying. Like recently I've been like watching a lot of these people at like the Comedy Store, and I see how they like are working on their material, even if it's good or bad. They got their little notebook there. They're like really trying to like figure out this wording. They're constantly trying to figure out, how to perfect a joke. And so I see people that do that, and I go, oh, I really want to be more like that.
Yeah. Who are some of those people for you that stand out?
Like Neil Brennan is a person that's like that, Yeah. Like Neil's like, he's always tinkering with something. And it's like, make sure he's like getting it right, or what he thinks is right. I don't always agree with the things that he says, but I agree with the process that he gets to his point of view. So so you, at least how he feels. It's consistent. You know what I mean? And then there's people like Chris D'Elia, who is going to work on a particular set ad nauseum. Like it's like he's going to get this right, so it's so fluid and comfortable. That you just go, oh, he's just so natural and comfortable the way he's like doing his thing. Then you have a guy like Bill Burr, who is like a rant comic. Like he gets on a rant, and it's just a powerful display of, this is my point of view. Everybody shut up and listen to it. Agree or not, you're going to understand my point. And then you're going to decide with your laughter if you agree or disagree. Both. And that's a skill. To make someone who disagrees with you laugh because they disagree with you is a great skill.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That is powerful to like persuade them nonetheless to come along with you.
Yeah, just because they just go, somebody going, this guy, like that's great, because they're basically saying, so you don't want, and so it's hard to do that. So that's why you have to be thoughtful in your writing and your performance style. Because I've gotten many, like, it sucks about the Comedy Store recently is that it's such a show now. It's not a workplace anymore. It's not like, you can't go up there and just work some shit out, because then outside some stupid person's going to come up to you and like get into an argument with you about, I can't believe you said that on stage. I disagree with what do you know? It's just like, it's crazy. Like, I remember one time I don't know why I entertained this dumb couple. I was talking these jokes, and then they want to come up to me and be like, "Oh, well, I can't believe you said that," and blah blah blah, And I just was fucking with them the whole outside, because I told the guy, I was like, "Oh, you just I get it, man. You're a pretentious liberal fuck, right? It's okay, just own it, just own it, And then his girl, and then like. I got to the point where they were starting to argue with themselves, and I was like, that's what I wanted, I was like, oh, you want to take my time and you want to fuck up my evening by coming at me with your bullshit point of view? All right, let's have a talk then. Let's see how this is going to go, And so, but anyways, my point is, I could have avoided all of that by, just doing the material that worked and like finding someplace else to like work out my thoughts. That's what a Comedy Store used to be, but it's harder now. It's just like so many people are in the crowd, you never know now. It's like all these, all these casting directors and all that. Like I booked I'm Dying Up here because they saw me at the Comedy Store. So you never know who's in the crowd now. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, damn, now I have to like really think about before I even get to the club, what I'm going to talk about, how I'm going to talk about it. So what's our open mic now? Like, what's an open mic for me? I don't even know. I have to go to the improv, you find different ways. Yeah.
Do you feel like the improv is like?
Yeah, because they just like they go in swings, and the improv's on a downswing. Something the Friday night, no one's in there. You know what I mean? Even though the same people are on the lineup that are at the other two clubs. It's just it's really weird. Unless it's like Joe Rogan, it's like Joe Rogan and Friends. That one sells out. But like for the most part, it's like it was hit and miss for a little while. They're trying to find their way, So.
What do you like to do to like come down after like shows or decompress?
I don't know. I need to find something. That's something I started to think about. It's like I started to feel like I need to go on walks or something. I need to get off stage and just walk around the block or something, or walk down the street and walk back. Just get all of that out so I can get home and go to sleep. That's a problem. You don't sleep well when you're a comic.
Because you're thinking about, I should have said it like this or that. Or...
No, I don't think it's just that. It's just your brain is just firing. You're just going it. Then you get home and you're just like, all right, what's next? Or then you just don't even realize you're doing that until it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck? So.
Do you still sit down and listen to your set and like write shit out like that?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah.
Because and that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to work differently. So when I come back to it, I'm definitely going to like have a different work ethic.
Which is going to be what?
Just really working on the structure and listening to myself and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Really, because it's like I feel like we have to start from scratch. I feel like I have these jokes that I want to do that I was doing before. It's like, can we still do those jokes? It feels like a different era now. It feels like pre-corona is like you're doing your pre-corona jokes. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're gonna have that kind of pressure.
Yeah, like what's appropriate and like different things that should be said. You want to talk about, taco trucks? Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think also people want to relax and have fun, you know?
No, I know that's the thing that's like a hard thing to like.
Decipher.
Yeah, like what is what should we be talking about or what should you not be talking about?
Have
It
you
is
been
an escape.
cooking?
Yeah, I cook all the time. I actually cook every day. That's one of the good things to answer your previous question about what's been happening is I'm turning myself into a chef.
I'm like I deserve a show. I deserve a sponsorship. I mean,
God. Yeah.
I'm such a good cook. I really am. I have a talent.
Well, then why is it always about stripping? How come it's never about
what, a one Zoom class? Because no one wants to take a sauce from me to how to learn how to make homemade pasta sauce.
How do you know?
Well, okay, I'll do the class. But I feel like that's more of like an IG live. Have you noticed all these celebrities suddenly are doing IG lives?
Yeah. So,
Isn't that weird?
Well, because people want to be connected, and they also just want to stay relevant with their fans and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not in a movie, if you're not on a TV, if you're not doing something where people can look at you and be like, oh, there's that guy or there's that girl. If you're not, that's what you have to stay in people's minds.
But it's like people who like never used to do that shit. It's like, why is Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow going live and Drew Barrymore?
Yeah, because they realize like, yeah, we've forgotten you already. It's just that easy to forget someone. It's that easy to be like, it's just like going to camp or something and you go, oh, I used to love that. What was their name? We spent every single day together and I forgot, that's how it is. You don't remember people, you don't remember, the character on a show and you're just like, oh, what was that actor's name? I mean, it's just, it's so easy to just get forgotten.
And what are some dishes, we'll end with this, what are some dishes that you keep making, some of your hits in Erik's kitchen?
I get this thing, I get one of those like meal plan things where they send you the ingredients and the instructions. So I've cooked that's what I love about it. It's like all different types of things, like, it's like I made like a apple cabbage coleslaw the other day. It's like different kinds of all these different types of ways to make chicken and all these different, like it'll be Mediterranean this or Greek that or whatever. So there's all these different types of dishes that are really fun to make. And so
is that a landline?
Yeah, I have I'm old. I have one of those landline internet phones because my building to buzz people in, you have to have a local number.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's your Amazon delivery.
Don't be with your ageism. I heard that I heard it in your voice. Is that a landline?
No, I want one. When I get a house, I'm gonna get a landline. It's like the fun part of. I already thought about it.
Are you guys getting a house?
Not well, eventually.
Oh, sorry. I'm still shocked that you're not pregnant yet.
Well, he came in me once a week ago, and he still but nothing happened. But it's like it's hard because I'm on this anti-anxiety medication, and I shouldn't be on it if I want to, have a kid. But like, it's like I don't want to get off it. Like I enjoy because my mind races, and like it's just nice to be like that. And it's like so like I have to be anxious now, and you just get to come in me whenever you want and still be on your medication. It's not fair.
The funniest Instagram post I've seen in a long ass time was Rachel sent it to me. It was from a girl, and the girl says it was very graphic. It was like I took a pill for 2 years so he could come in this pussy raw, but he won't take a pill every day so I can get a dog.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
So it was like
it's uneven.
So, but I mean, I don't know. I just thought, because again, getting back to the wedding, I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those marriages. You're gonna be like one of those fat moms.
You think I'm gonna be like we're attractive now, but then like the people
you're gonna
faithful with.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be a fat mom. I can tell.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, you're gonna be one of those roly-poly moms that have like five. You're gonna have like 5 kids. After the second one, you stop caring. Like the first 2, you're gonna be still doing your Pilates. You're gonna be doing all your. But 3, 4, 5, you're gonna be like, nah.
See, I know what you mean. I already have a fanny. I got a fanny pack for
You're already giving up. It's already.
or when I take the dog out on walks, and I just feel like I'm a zoo trainer. I'm just unzipping it and giving them a little treat. You know, it's like I toss it. It's like I see it now. I'm very maternal.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. What's he doing? I gotta.
It's gonna happen this year. But yeah, thank you for your time. I know you're very busy right now.
Not really.
So
yeah,
I know.
That's why I'm on the podcast.
I know. I waited until when I knew I'd get you.
You need a world. Yeah, because you waited till what am I gonna say? Well, I actually I got nothing. What time?
I know. It's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's no problem. And whenever, you know what I mean?
And when I relapsed on Coke, I texted
not again,
you.
Please.
No, I
remember that.
Wait, do you remember? I texted
Yes.
you and I was like, I'm watching your special. That's like my fear of like, if I ever was going to relapse, like I was like, I can't go to the Comedy Store because I'm just going to start telling people how much I like them. And I texted, I was at this person's place doing Coke for like 24 hours. And I put on your special and Theo's, and I texted both of you just like walls of words, just like saying how much I like your stuff. So just shout out your podcast and your specials where everyone can watch it.
By the way, before we even go though, but I still, you know what though, my favorite phone call from you ever will always be when you called me and were like just at a loss about like you met some director that was like you were a fan of and he was being inappropriate. And then like if he would have caught you 6 years ago, 6 years before that, you might have been a whole different person. You might have been like, yeah, let's go back to your place or whatever it is. But you were at a point in your life where you were like, no, I want to be looked at as someone who is talented and has value and worth other than my pretty face. And it was like I heard it in your voice of like this transition you were going through. And I just think that happens to a lot of women in Hollywood. You get to a certain age where you're just like, really? You still trying to fuck me? That's all you think I am? So I just remember that as being like a good, like, I was like, oh, good for her. Switch it. You know what I mean?
I really did. It's weird because, a friend of mine who I'd been friends with for 8 years, he was a studio executive. I'd always be like, yeah, put me in something, and then we haven't talked for like, but he never did. He's like, I'm not fucking, you want to go to dinner and come to Cannes, sure, but like, that's it. I'm not putting you in a fucking movie. And we hadn't talked for like a year. And then he called me and he was like being a little flirty. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm glad to hear from you, but like, I'm fucking married. Like, I'm not doing this with you. And like, I put him in his place and he really heard me. And I was like, don't fucking call me with that shit anymore. And it was like totally different side of me. And then like a couple weeks went by. Now he's like producing this like huge movie and was like, hey, why don't you and Steven make a tape for this and work with us on this? And like, it was just weird because I was like, I wonder why he suddenly did that. And I think it's because I was like, put him in his place like that.
I was going to say, I always say that guys need boundaries. Like, it's like, we do, like, the ones that don't hear no are psychopaths and they go to jail. Yeah. But we all hear no when it's no. You know what I mean? And there is a side of sometimes, when you weren't really saying no.
I was like, no.
It's not even like, or just like keeping like you were trying to get something out of the situation too. Like it was going to be like you were using your sexuality as a transactional, Yeah. And it's like you get to a point where you just like, you're done with that, And it's like, it's like, I was just talking to a comic the other day about like, he's talking about when you respect someone really, you treat them better. And it's just like a thing of like of men, we have to find ways to like go against our impulses and actually see people beyond what we see, And that's just like just being honest about it. It's like that probably the hardest thing. It's like to really be like, let's be respectful of women for more than just this things they make us feel. And that's just shit. That can be hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's like nobody would, you know, maybe most people wouldn't admit it like I'm saying it like that, but yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? You know, you're just like, damn, you know, so you see somebody, you go, damn, that person's beautiful or whatever. And then like, if you're interacting with that person, now all of a sudden it's like, how can you interact with this person? Like you want to interact with this person that's beyond that, you know? And it's like, that's the human condition, is to like, you know, manage your feelings and emotions and be, you know, what's the proper time for this and the proper time for that. And like, you know, but I think what I'm saying is, I don't think it's anything wrong with like a guy that is single, even if he's not single, he comes to you and, you know, you the interaction starts with like, hey, what's going on? And then it's fine for you to be like, no, you know, it's, I'm married, very happy, flattered, but that's never going to happen. And then moving on to the next thing. It's totally fine for that person, you know, it's fine for that person to be like, oh, okay, all right, and now, okay, well, let me see this. Also, it's okay for that person to be like, well, that's the only reason I was talking to you, so peace. You know, like both those things are okay.
Yeah.
As long as we deal with it, but we should deal with it. We just find ourselves not dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know? So, but anyway.
It's weird how you have to mentally like take a note in your head to like you have to get over certain things.
Yeah. But I don't think we should like ignore it. I mean, I don't think we should just be like, oh, you should be, you know, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm a human being. Like, like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, if you're working with some, you know, you go, damn. It was like, my last story is like, I did this movie. It's actually on Hulu now. It's called Electric Love. It's a great little movie, actually. So the producer of the movie is the two producers and writers are this couple, Aaron and Victoria. But I knew Victoria from following her on Instagram, and she's like an Instagram model. I'm talking about like big titties, you know, just all her posts are like, you're like, well, damn. And I know I said some inappropriate shit in the DMs before.
Yeah.
She books me for this movie, and I get to set. And I don't realize it until the day before, she's telling me, like, I see her name and I'm like, what is her name? And then I look and I go, oh my God, this is this person. So I hit her up and I go, I am really sorry if I've said anything, you know, inappropriate to you. I just want to start I don't want to ignore the fact that I might have been inappropriate, or like if I've liked a lot of your titty pictures, or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, I just want to start fresh and just be like, boom, you know, and they've put me in 2 of their movies now. So what I'm saying is like, that was a mindset I had to get out of being like, you know, it had to put me in my place. I was like, oh shit, this is like a smart, strong, you know, bad bitch. You know what I mean? She's like a producer and writer, and she got the funds to make this movie herself. They got distributing, and she, you know, I'm like, of course she could be like that. You know what I mean? Like, of course. Like, why is it a shock? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing you got to try to get over. It's not a shock. It's just, I just looked at her a certain way because of what I was interacting with, you know?
Yeah.
But last social comment of this, though, is that as long as we use sex to sell, people will be objectified, especially women. If we're going to use sex to sell anything, that's going to come with objectification. So that's going to be in society. So people need to like recognize that. Once we turn that off, you know, if you know what I mean? If the car commercial comes on, it's a big titty chick, it's like, hey, buy Ford. Well, we're objectifying. That's the whole reason why you're using it. So we have to get away from that stuff to truly get past, you know, this divide we have, the sexual war.
Yeah. Thank you, Erik.
Yeah.
Where can we follow you?
Oh, that's right. At Erik Griffin. I'm at Erik Griffin on most things. ErikGriffin.com. At Erik Griffin on Twitter, Instagram, you know, all that stuff. But you can also find my podcast is Erik on YouTube. If you just search for Riffin with Griffin, and it's like, but it's Erik Griffin Comedy is the. I'm trying to change it to Riffin with Griffin, but and then I'm gaming. If you like watching like me, you want to watch somebody game and just I do music on there. I have a fun time on my gaming channel. That's Erik Griffin Gaming. And Erik with a K, ERIK.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, girl. Talk soon. Say hi to Steven.
Okay. Bye.
All right, peace.